Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here to give our preview and predictions for NXT Takeover Chicago 2. NXT Takeover Chicago has been built up tremendously. There is not a single match on this card that doesn't have decent build to it, or somewhat of a good build to it. And the weakest match on the card can hold up, and I think it needs to be positioned in a better light going forward, and I'll talk about that when we go over everything. But this looks like a good show from Chicago, and this looks like the more promising of two shows, especially with NXT TakeOver track records. And I think this is the first time I'm actually previewing one on the podcast, so this is very, very cool to do. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Let's get right into it. All right, the very first match that I want to talk about is the match I believe they should open up with for the show, and that is going to be for the NXT Tag Team Championship. I think we're going to see the Undisputed Era, who are the Tag Team Champions, and it's been Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong versus Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. I got to clap right now for Roderick Strong has done a great job in this role as a heel now. And he has personality because he's hanging out with Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. And all of them together just makes things better. Like, it makes their promos better. It makes their in-ring work better. Everything just works so much better with those guys as a functioning team. So I like it. And I also like Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch a lot. I think those guys do great work in the ring every single time they're in there, and they deserve to get a fair shake at NXT roster spots. I know that they would pop up from time to time, and maybe they'll get a match against someone who's on the rise and then lose. But these guys have earned their spot, and I'm glad that they're finally getting a shot. Now, I want to say this first. The Undisputed Era have been lowly, dirty heels ever since Roderick Strong has joined them, and they did get the best of them, but Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan have also been taking it to them along with Pete Dunne. Now, could I see Pete Dunne costing them this match? Perhaps. But I think the tag team titles are staying right where they are, and that's going to be on the Undisputed Era for this match. There's no reason for them to lose the belts at this point, and I think that the chase is going to happen a little bit longer if you're going to put the belts on Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, but I don't think that they need the tag belts at this point. Next up, we have a match for the NXT Women's Championship, and that'll be Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross has been kind of in the shadows for this feud, and they built it around Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler having issues. But Nikki Cross deserves a one-on-one match for this NXT Women's Championship to showcase her abilities. Shayna Baszler has improved so much, I feel, since I first saw her in the Mae Young Classic on WWE. Now, I've seen her on other people's podcasts and stuff, so I knew what she was capable of. Shayna Baszler is a tremendous talent, and I think that she's got a bright future in pro wrestling. So, for right now, I think we could see Shayna Baszler hanging out until about Survivor Series before she's ready for the main roster. And I think she deserves a decent title reign for it. And is it time to take the belt off of her? I don't think so. So, I'm going to predict another title retain for Shayna Baszler. And I could eventually see her going up to the main roster to join Ronda Rousey and potentially see her put over the next female in NXT. And I think that's Kairi Sane, but she's not to be seen on this card. And the weird thing about this one is that when you think about NXT, they always find one match to surprise you with. And I'm not too sure who is going to have that match on this show. And it's always tough to call. You never know what they're going to do. But usually one match catches you off guard, and they usually get you really good with it. But either way, Shayna Baszler will retain her Women's Championship for my prediction. Alright guys, let's talk about the next match, which is Ricochet versus the Velveteen Dream. One of the best built matches on this card. Now, this match doesn't have any implications. This is basically about two guys who want to be the best down in NXT. And the main thing that they're talking about is who's the brighter star. And everyone's talking about Ricochet. He's the one and only. And Velveteen Dream says, anything you can do, I can do. And I thought the best moment of the feud was when he was almost at the middle of the ramp. And after he said that exact line that I said, Ricochet runs off the ropes and does a front flip outside and lands on his feet and walks right up to Velveteen Dream's face and says, prove it. This is going to be a really, really good match, I feel. Ricochet is a tremendous athlete, and he's someone that WWE has to use right. This guy is better than being on 205 Live. He doesn't need any of that. But, man, the guy's incredible. And I could see him being NXT champion one day. But for this match, I think the star power is coming from the Velveteen Dream. The Velveteen Dream as a character can get people really invested into his matches just by telling a very simple story. And I don't know who's teaching him that, but you need to keep them around in NXT and have them build up more matches like that. Because I know Shawn Michaels is down there, and there's probably other coaches that I'm not giving proper credit to. But the build-ups for some of these matches have been great, and it's just subtle little things that make me wonder, why can't I get this on the main roster? Now, it's time for my prediction for this match, and I'm going to say this. It's tough to choose who should win, but in my opinion, if it was up to me, I'm going with the Velveteen Dream. He has done everything right, and he needs, I won't even say needs, he deserves a big victory for his hard work that he has put in. And as a character, I want to see him get that big win. So the Velveteen Dream is my prediction to win this match. And just so you guys are aware, I do know that this card is not extremely long and that this episode of the podcast will probably be about 10 minutes. Not a big deal, guys. If you prefer in the future, I can record this in conjunction with whatever WWE pay-per-view is happening. Like I said, find some way to get in contact with me, and if you prefer that, tell me that. Now, the match that I was talking about that has very little build, and it's probably the match that I care the least about on this card, is Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan. And it's not to say that the build's even been bad, because Lars Sullivan was used for the Ricochet Velveteen Dream feud that's happening right now. But Lars Sullivan and Aleister Black are just forgotten about, kind of. And it's because they're being outshined right now by Gargano and Ciampa. They're being outshined by Velveteen Dream and Ricochet, in my opinion. And that's because all these guys wanted so bad. But are they doing bad? No. Aleister Black has put on good matches. Lars Sullivan has been trying to improve, so I can't say anything bad about these two. This should be a very interesting match. We're going to have Aleister Black in there with a different kind of opponent. This guy's supposed to be a monster, Lars Sullivan. Really big, huge. And Aleister Black is going to want to basically hit him with his roundhouse kick to get the win. And the black mass is what he wants to get the victory with, I would assume, in this match, because I can't see Lars Sullivan tapping out. The question is, how long is it going to take for him to hit it? I think he's going to take a lot of punishment from Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan's going to have a good showing. But I'm predicting Aleister Black retains the NXT Championship. I don't see any reason right now for Aleister Black not to be the champion. Maybe they like Lars Sullivan enough to give him the belt. Like I said, something weird could happen, but I'm going to predict that all the championships stay on the current title holders. Aleister Black wins with the Black Mass. The tension for the main event has been building up for a year now. In the main event, we are going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned Chicago street fight between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This match has been built tremendously. The back and forth, Johnny Gargano earning his job back, the tag team breaking up as DIY. The story's so long to tell you, and you guys should just go on YouTube to check out all the videos and footage that they put together for this match so far. And I really thought they had a cool video package with Fozzie's theme for the pay-per-view, which I believe is Painless. And man, this match should be really good. I don't know what to expect out of it, but I'm expecting it to be really good because these guys have continued to deliver. And I think that we're going to see this feud end finally at NXT Takeover Brooklyn, which will be happening in August. But there's only one way to make this feud continue, in my opinion, right now, and that is to have Tommaso Ciampa defeat Johnny Gargano. I don't know if you want to have Candice LeRae play a part in the finish in this one, which you could. And I think they probably should because she's had a little bit of a role in this part of the feud since Gargano has won. You could do something with her. I don't know how far they want to take it or if they even want Tommaso to grab her or pretend like he's going to put a move on her or something. But this match has great possibilities. And I'm really expecting them to deliver and show up and put on a great match for everyone. I'm just going to call this final thoughts for the end of this show. I do know that for this show, we can expect certain things to potentially happen. Like I said, there could be a match that goes off the Richter and we get shocked by what happens in it. NXT is known to do that. Which match, though? I don't know. NXT is very hard to predict, which makes it why it's so lovable. This show also has done a great job in building up things, unlike the main roster's Money in the Bank show. And we also have the potential to have a match added to this card. We don't have EC3 on this card, Cassius Ono, Kairi Sane, Adam Cole. So there's potential to add one or two more matches onto here. Even Heavy Machinery, the Street Profits, the Mighty now, which are formerly TM61. Lots of potential guys could show up on this and get an extra match. And I know that they're going to record the NXT show for the week after before this. So we should see some good matches on there as well. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this show. Do me a favor, guys. Make sure you tell a friend about the Everything Pro Wrestling podcast and have them come listen. Check out the show, whether it's on iTunes, Wrestling Aminu, the Everything Pro Wrestling Facebook group. Check me out on Twitter. Doesn't matter, guys. Come through, support the brand. I appreciate each and every one of you who listens. I tell you that every week because without you guys, there is no show. And Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans. And you guys do it all. And I do it for the fans. So thank you very much. And let's have fun when we check out NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. Peace.